The threat to leave was just a threat, was it? If it happens again, I'm leaving. You still stayed put, Jim. You're still here.
Well, I didn't write that, so I don't take responsibility for that message.
Whose lyric is it?
It's a Brian lyric. It's like a double entendre lyric, isn't it? It's like a love song. People think it's about a bitter split, but it's actually about if Thatcher gets in again, I'm leaving.
What country that is?
What was the guy's name? Parsons, who used to be a journalist, and he did the best review I've ever seen of one of our records. It was actually for Promises and Lies, but I think it was a really clever little review where it said that our albums tend to be half love songs and half political songs, and sometimes they're both. And I think that was quite a astute way of judging what we do, because it usually turns out that's the case.
Just talking of reviewers, the guy who wrote for Rolling Stone actually gave this album a rave review, and he said that somehow we'd found someone who could write songs without understanding that it's the same team that had been writing the songs all along. But he actually says that we weren't songwriters till we did Labour of Love, and then we found songwriters.
Well,
but it was a rave review saying that the album was really good with great lyrics.
So with this album, you decided on If It Happens Again being the first single release. Any particular rhyme or reason behind that?
Because it was a top 10 hit.
You didn't know that at the time.
Single.
But you can tell. It was the most obvious. It wasn't the best track on the album, in my view. I love As Always You Were Wrong Again. I love I'm Not Fooled So Easily. And I loved Riddle Me. But If It Happens Again was just the obvious single choice. It was the most commercial sounding track. And the record, Virgin, were all over it, and they were going, that's the single. So, of course, that was the first.
Everybody was right then.
There wasn't an argument about it. It was just obvious. It was just such the obvious one. It just works out like that sometimes.
And we made a very funny video.
And the funny heads and the night tracksuits.
Using our kids with all our heads as well. Were you in it, Matt?
Nah, I'm
you weren't born, were you? But
Warwick
and Jamie and then we're in it. I've still got mine, but it's almost faded completely now. All the features and the colour and everything has gone almost. That it needs painting again. I think I might do it just for the fun of it.
Oh dear, if it happens again. I think a lot of people, when they hear UB40 tracks, i.e. Off of record or CD, they're actually quite used to listening to them on the live version. So it's quite novel to hear an actual track like that, because all I can hear there is that powerful ending in a live setting, which is a great track.
It's also played as a full riff live, whereas on the record, it's a repeat. It's a different riff that we put a repeat on. And we loved it so much, we just went, oh, keep doing that. And that was the play out. The actual riff was a bit simpler than that. But because of the repeats, it became the riff. And live, that's what they now play, is that full repeat riff.
We were using, starting to use samplers at that time as well.
And you can hear Brian's playing the Lyrical in the background, that little whistling riff. That's Brian playing the thing. And I'm playing a synth guitar. So it's all new and new sounds for the whole band. So why it sounds like it does, why it's got the identity that it's got.
So where did that crazy video idea come from then? It was obviously back then it was the done thing, I suppose, to do a video. Is that something you guys enjoyed? I know obviously Brian did.
Where do all our crazy videos come from? Brian Travers. He made all our videos, and he's the visionary one. He's the one who has the ideas and goes, oh, we got to do this. And we just go, carry on, Brian. And he had that whole idea of us having latex heads made of our own faces and then putting them onto the kids.
That's called having more money than sense then at that stage. That's what had happened, basically.
Well, none of it relates to the actual track itself. There's no narrative in it or anything. Different.
It doesn't explain the meaning behind the track or anything. It was just like a bit of...
And remember, he had that set built that was...
With the mad perspectives and that floors.
Perspective was mad. And we were... Seeley was touching our heads at the back of the room, and as he came forward, it got much bigger. And it was all perspective and just all Brian's visual ideas, all wrapped up into one. And a highly amusing video.
Well, I suppose at that time you were all starting to grow up a bit. You were no longer kids really now. You'd gained some experience in the industry. You'd earned a few quid. And I suppose that started to show in your music. But how was life off the pitch, so to speak?
We were so incredibly immature.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I can well imagine that, Jimmy.
as far as I'm concerned, we were behaving like kids.
Still are, really. I can't remember anything about
Never grow old.
what we was doing.
Yeah.
You must have started, you'd be buying houses and stuff like that and actually starting to have...
Like, to me, it's just a blur. I don't know any years or what decade it was or anything, really. I can't remember. Whereas Brian could probably tell you which gig it was, who was serving behind the bar in that gig. You know what I mean? What day. Whereas, like, I can't tell. You know what I mean? It's only like I'll have musical references, and that's about it.
That's why it's good to get 3 or 4 of you together every week.
But the important thing really was that we now had, at this point, we now had our own studio.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Whereas Labour of Love was our own studio, but it was kind of makeshift. And the money that we earned off of Labour of Love and our first number one, etc., that helped to finance the building of our complex, where we had the studio and the offices and the storage rooms and all of that. So we had the luxury of a studio where we could spend time and just enjoy ourselves making music. Because in those days, to go to a top studio in London was a grand a day.
No, it
So
seems
we
like...
crunched the numbers and came up with the realisation that just investing in the studio ourselves would be covered by 1 or 2 or maybe 3 albums at the
Easily.
most. So
Yeah.
it's well worth. If you believe you have a future, it's worth investing in it. That's what we did.
It's what most bands do, innit? If they've got to be.
Yeah,
Obviously,
makes
you
sense.
want the artistic freedom and the time to express yourself properly. Without
Well, I don't know that most bands do it. I think
if they earn enough money, they probably
I
will.
guess,
Obviously,
yeah.
it's a lot easier now. It's a hell of a lot easier now because you can do it on a
It is,
laptop.
yeah.
But at that time, it was like very
we
hard.
probably wouldn't do it now, would we?
No.
Well,
no,
it'd be
probably
like
not.
people like Earl said, it was a couple of $100,000 then, but you could probably do it a lot less now because it's all digital.
Yeah, people are making records in the bedrooms now.